Welcome to Know His Love Stories, where we listen to the voice of the Father through His children. This week we bring you a story from the street. In the summer of 2021, the Know His Love team attended our first live event, sharing the power, accessibility, and beauty of the personal love of God, as well as listening to men and women share their own experiences of His love. This is one of those stories. This is Jesse Bonilla. Originally from Maryland and his family's from El Salvador, he's currently a vagabond missionary, a group that focuses on bringing the love of God to low-income areas such as Pittsburgh and Wichita. Be sure to support their work at vagabondmissions.com. This is a Know His Love story.
Yeah. When I was in high school, that was a time and period where through my parents, I knew of a God. I knew of God, but I didn't really know Him interiorly, into my heart, into my life. And so I really just fell into many things of the world, drugs, relationships, and just trying to find something that had meaning. And so I think during that time, I struggled to understand who I was, struggled to understand who God was. I believed at that moment that I was just somebody who wasn't necessarily worthy of God, worthy of His love. I would hear these amazing things like, when you have God, you have joy. When you have God, you have this. When you have God, you're complete. But for me to even though I had a desire to know God, I thought because of my lifestyle, because of the things that I was doing, because I didn't feel it inside my heart, I just assumed that you have to be good, you have to be holy, you have to be going to church, you have to be persevering in ways that I wasn't. And so it's how can me, a true sinner, because I differentiate what a sinner is when you're in church and what a sinner is outside. I used to think that there are two complete different things. So I was oh, well, I'm a real sinner, a real sinner. So no, I don't think God would really want a real sinner like me. I went to this beautiful 3-day retreat when I was 18. I was fresh out of high school. And I was just blown away by this retreat. We talked about the love of the Father. We talked about sins and its consequences. We talked about so many different wonderful talks that I needed to hear. And not only that, but we enter into profound, deep prayer. And one of these prayers was the love of the Father. And as we were entering deeply into this prayer, I just remember I was just overwhelmed by the Lord's presence. I started to weep. I remember I started from standing. All of a sudden, I'm flat on my face, just weeping. So much tears, so much liberation happening in that moment. And I remember in that moment, I just saw these 2 feet appear in front of me with sandals and just this powerful, powerful presence of the Lord. And I just remember His white robe brushing my face and cleaning me, as to say, I cleanse you, you are mine. That moment changed my life forever. That moment truly allowed me to understand the depths of God's love and how I was seen at that moment. And it was just such a profound experience. And that was really the start of my journey towards God. And how that changed the way I saw Him was, okay, maybe I'm not hopeless. Maybe there is a possibility that God came for me. To really know that, to really understand that. And how I saw myself, it was a struggle at first, especially because of the weight of the shame, the weight of the sin, the weight of the lifestyle. It's not like you encounter God and bam, your whole life is changed. You never sin again. I struggled heavily. And so one of my biggest struggles has been loving myself. And so over the years, that has really, really been something that God has been working inside of me. And so now, confidently, I can say today that I truly do love myself. And it hasn't been a process, and there is days where I don't, or I struggle to, but I know that the Lord created me to be good. I know that I am good. And there is no sin, there is nothing that I can do that will ever take away God's love. To be a beloved son is everything for me. It means that I am seen. It means that I have a purpose. It means that everything that I have heard from CCD to the talks that I will hear to the homilies of God's love and who I am is all true. And so to know that I am truly a beloved son is what I believe is what true hope is. Because to hold on to that, it doesn't matter how hard it gets, it doesn't matter whatever happens in your life, the hope will always remain. Because God will never change. My favorite way that God shows me his personal love is honestly, for so long I thought that I needed to do so much in order to gain God's love. And so regularly and so often, God reminds me that he's loving me where I am and not where I wish to be, not where I was, but where I am today. He wishes to meet me and to love me right there. It doesn't matter if I'm in a broken state, a state of depression, a state of anger, a state of sin. I know that the Lord wants to love me where I am. True hope and true joy and true love will only be found through Christ. And I know that it's tempting, especially in the world that we live in, to look elsewhere. I know it's tempting to believe that you can find it through another human being, but we are all just broken. And reality is that we're all in need of love. And so many of us want to love as well. We're in need of love and we want to love. There is no greater person. There is no greater person that will ever love you more completely and fully and uniquely than God. There's just no other person. And he will receive your love as well in the most imperfected ways. And he would treasure that and hold on to that and truly, truly, truly fill you up.
Thank you for listening to Jesse's story. I would love to share yours as well. If you're interested in sharing your story, please connect with us on social media or by clicking on the Join Us link at knowHis.love.